has got a blanket, and that blanket is atmosphere. So we have to learn about that particular blanket of Earth called atmosphere. Atmosphere is a thin layer of air which covers the Earth and which protects us from the harmful radiations. And we need to discuss in detail the structure of atmosphere, and I have given a small diagram here to explain the different layers of atmosphere, and we will see all those layers in detail. So we will start with the first layer, and that is troposphere, and the second layer of atmosphere is stratosphere, and the third layer is mesosphere. Then comes thermosphere, which has two divisions, ionosphere and exosphere. So we will see the features of all those layers in detail now. Okay? We will start with troposphere. As you have seen in this picture, troposphere is the layer which is very near to the surface of the Earth, and the average thickness of troposphere is around 13 kilometers. And all the weather phenomena like clouds, winds, rainfall, hail, storm, everything occur in this particular layer. So that this layer is known as the weather making zone. The upper limit of troposphere is known as tropopause. This is the particular line which represents tropopause. So the second layer of atmosphere, which is the stratosphere, starts after tropopause. So we will see the features of stratosphere now. Stratosphere, as you have seen in this diagram, it is the second layer of the atmosphere, and which extends up to 50 kilometers. It extends up to 50 kilometers, and stratosphere is a layer with no weather phenomena. There is very less quantity of air present. Because of that, very less weather phenomena is there, and clouds we cannot see, very hardly we can see clouds in stratosphere, as well as other weather phenomena like rainfall is not there. So this is an ideal layer for the air transportation or for aviation. And the upper limit of stratosphere is known as stratopause, and just there is a thin layer of ozone also present in this layer. As we all know, ozone is a layer of, it's a gas which help us or which protects us from the UV rays coming from the sun. And there are a lot of problems now. We are talking about ozone and depletion of ozone. One such problem with ozone layer is facing is ozone holes. As we know that chlorofluorocarbons, carbon dioxide emissions, all these are leading to depletion of ozone layer and all. And global warming is another effect of depletion of ozone layer and all. So that is all about stratosphere, and the upper limit of stratosphere is known as stratopause. This is the line which is representing stratopause, and above stratosphere the next layer starts, the third layer of atmosphere, and that is mesosphere. Mesosphere is a layer in which extends from 50 to 80 kilometers. It extends up to 80 kilometers, and mesosphere is a layer in which the meteors which is coming from the space are burned up, and which is not actually coming to the surface of the Earth because of the presence of mesosphere. This particular layer, mesosphere, and the upper limit of mesosphere is known as mesosphere. As you have already seen, this line is representing mesopause, the upper limit of mesosphere. And the last layer of atmosphere is the thermosphere, and as you can see in this diagram, thermosphere is divided into two layers, that is ionosphere and exosphere. Ionosphere is a layer which contains large amount of ions, which is electrically charged ions, and that actually helps the transmission of radio waves. And the last layer is exosphere. Exosphere is a layer, the extreme layer of atmosphere, or which is the second layer of thermosphere, and it extends from 640, and the end point actually we cannot determine. End point of exosphere actually we cannot determine, and the exosphere or the end point of thermosphere is actually joining with the interplanetary space. And that's what all about the structure of atmosphere. I'll just want to conclude by repeating all the layers. The troposphere is the lowest layer, and stratosphere, mesosphere, and then thermosphere, which has two divisions, ionosphere and exosphere. Thank you.